Hi, good evening.
Good evening, sir. We are really glad to have you here.
Happy to come back to my college.
Thank you, sir. I would like to start with the session. To formally introduce Sir, Manoj Kohli, sir, is one of India's most respected business leaders with extensive global experience. Over 4 decades, he has held top leadership positions across a wide range of industries, including engineering, uh, mobile internet, telecom, energy in India, Asia, Africa, and across the world. Mr. Kohli is currently responsible for SoftBank Group International in India, supporting over 20 portfolio companies to address public policy issues. After graduating from SRCC, he started his career in HR in 1979 with DCM Shriram Group. Previously, as CEO of Bharti Airtel, Mr. Kohli helped build it into the third largest mobile company in the world with over 400 million customers. He was adjudged as the Telecom Man of the Year and was also given the Best Alumni Award by Shriram College of Commerce, Delhi University. He has brought some revolutionary changes in the domains he has worked in. We are not just inspired but also enthralled to see you here, sir. We are really, really honored, and I would request you to take over the session now.
Thank you. Thank you, Shreya. I'm delighted to be back in my college, and I have huge gratitude for Shriram College to teach me and show me the path of long-term success. So I give the credit of my success, a lot of the credit to my parents and to my school and college. Because, at that age, when you come out of college, I remember at this time, in the month of April in 1979, when I finished my exams, and I was lucky to get a job with Shriram Group immediately. And I started with Sugar, Dorala and Momana Sugar Works. And, management trainees, they learn a lot. I also learned a lot. But over the last 42 years, I've been very blessed that I have kept on learning day and night. And not only Sugar, but now SoftBank. So from Sugar to SoftBank, my journey has been very gratifying. And I'm really blessed that I could succeed in many points. So today I'm going to share with you a few ideas. And I'll speak for 15-20 minutes, and then, of course, I'll take some Q&A. Let me start with first what my parents taught me. And that's a very important thing. They taught me 4H. 4H. And that's what I teach. I have two daughters. I teach both my daughters exactly the same 4H. One is about honesty. H for honesty. Despite whatever is happening across the world, it is very important for our new generation, for all the students who are coming out of Shriram College, to please stick to honesty. Because honesty is the best policy in the long term. Yes, by being dishonest, you can have a short-term success, but let me tell you that success will not sustain. You will not have continued success. And life is not about one-time success. Then you will become a single trick pony. You don't want to be a single trick pony. You want to be successful for the next 30, 40 years. And that success will only come when the world knows that you are an honest guy. You are a person for whom promises are important, and you always keep your promise as honestly as possible. So that is number one. Number two is hard work, H for hard work. And when I say hard work, I also include smart work. Because you have to work hard, you also have to think a lot and work smart, take smart decisions in your business or whatever you're doing. I can give you two examples of my favorite people. One is my boss, who's Masa, who's the founder of SoftBank. He is one of the hardest working people I've met. He works nearly 20 hours a day. And he is not only hardest worker, but also smartest entrepreneur of the world. Second is our respected Prime Minister. As you know, he also works 20 hours a day. And to manage a country, 1.54 billion people country of such complexity is very tough. He works hard, works smart, and so there is no shortcut in life. A lot of people may say that, you can earn money by shortcut. Maybe once you can earn it, but not on a sustainable basis. So please adopt hard work. Third H is hunger. If you are hungry, अगर आप में भूख है कुछ करने की, let's go back to Baga. I don't know if you saw the match at Baga in Australia 2 months back, where we won the match and Australia got defeated after 30 years. Australia lost a match in Baga. Why? Because young boys from small and medium towns of India, they really were on the front foot. They were fearless. They played so well. Even Australians were surprised that somebody can play as well on our wickets. And that is what I mean by hunger. You need to have hunger to succeed. Even if you are most successful, you should still have hunger to succeed. And today I am delighted to say that young boys and girls coming from small and medium towns, villages are so hungry for success. And that is the biggest opportunity of India in the world. The fourth H is humility. And by that, I mean being grounded. Even if you're very successful, even if you're flying high, be grounded, be humble, treat everyone with great respect. Because ups and downs are part of life. You'll have many successes and many failures. I've had many failures. And the big thing is people who treat others respectfully at the peak of success. When they come down or when they have some failures in life, others will treat you with respect. And that's most important. So these are the 4H, which I was taught by my father. And I took it very literally. And I take every advice I get from my father very literally. And I think even today, I want myself to follow these 4H, my daughters to follow, and I want all the Shri Ram College colleagues, all the young boys and girls who are going into real life now to follow these 4H. Also, I want to share with you is that you are getting into the real world at a very, very good time. So I'm really envious of you. Now you will say, why are you envious? You're doing so well. Why are you envious of me? I'm envious because when I came out of college in 79, same time, 42 years back, the economy was closed. The opportunities were very, very few. Today, you have thousands and millions of opportunities, either as an entrepreneur or as a professional, whatever. All kinds of, in my time, what were the opportunities? Doctor, engineer, and of course, Shri Ram College can't have engineers. Then you have, IAS and maybe chartered accountants. And let me tell you, 80% of Shri Ram College at that time used to become a chartered accountant. I was one of the few ones who said, no, I'll not do CA, I'll do MBA. And I think I took the right decision. So I think the great opportunity, timing is great because this 10 years, 2020 to 2030, is the golden decade, will be the golden decade for India and Indian economy. And more importantly, not because India will grow, Indian economy will grow, but because now Indian companies, Indian managers, Indian professionals, Indian entrepreneurs are adopting the global market. We are going global. At SoftBank, for example, each of our Indian companies, Paytm, Oyo, Ola, Uber, Lenskart, Policy Bazaar, Delivery, Grofers, each of these companies either are already going global or have aspirations to go global, which is so important. Earlier, Indian companies wanted to only stay in India, but not now. And that's the great opportunity which all of you have, which we didn't have at that point of time. So I'm really envious of you uh, because I'm sure you will do very well. Now, as a professional and as a entrepreneur, there are few things you have to remember and you have to take care in your business or in your career. Most important is customer. Always think customer. What will make the life of customer easy and convenient? How will you use your product or service so that customer can actually have a better life, can do the same things easily, conveniently, affordably? And that is what the power of your product or service should be. If you don't take care of customer, if you don't understand the aspirations of customer, especially the millennial customer, then you will not be able to succeed very easily. But if you understand customer very well, then you will succeed a lot. So first and foremost is that. Second is size of market. Whatever you should do as an entrepreneur or as a professional, go for a large market. If it has a small market, there's no great opportunity, because for small market, your effort may be disproportionately high. But for a large or even a medium-sized market, your effort will be great. So it's very important to go for medium or a large market rather than a very small market for a product or a service. Third thing is technology. Go for cutting-edge technology. For example, SoftBank focuses on AI, artificial intelligence, to be utilized by every company of SoftBank. Go for any technology, because our life in the last 10 years has been changed by technology. Our life in the next 10 years will be changed much more. From the time we wake up in the morning, from the time we sleep, technology will change our life completely. And therefore, it's very important for you to utilize the new technologies in the business you are pursuing or in the profession you are pursuing. So go for technology, understand the new technologies very deeply. Next is the business model. Whatever business you choose for yourself or profession you choose for yourself, the business model has to be profitable. By business model, I mean the business delivery model, how you deliver your product or service to the consumer, how it reaches the consumer. For example, Lenskart, let me give you an idea. Lenskart, you may be in small town in UP or Bihar or wherever, but you can go to a Lenskart shop, get your eyes tested, order the specs on the app, make the payment, select the frame of the app which suits your face, and you will get the specs at your home by courier within maybe 72 hours. Now, this is a business model. How you give your test, how you check the frames, how you make an order, how you make the payment, and how it reaches your home. Now, if this process is not profitable, then first make it profitable, because it has to have a healthy profit margin. And it has to be digitized end to end. The business model has to be digitized, because this is the age which is digital age. Whether it's internal company in the organization or external with the customer, it has to be end-to-end digitization. So that's the business model, which is very, very important for you. Next is brand. And I'm so delighted. I supported Airtel brand to become from 0 to #1 in the country across categories. And it's such a delight to build a new brand. And I'm so happy when I see startup brands. If you put on the TV in the evening today, you will see Lenskart there, you will see Policy Bazaar there, you will see Oyo there, you will see Zomato, Swiggy, and so many good brands. Now, this is the age of startup brands, digital brands. So you please understand, and brand is your reputation. Brand is your face. Brand is your future. Brand is most important. If a customer loves your brand, he prefers your brand every time he repeats his purchase, you will win. And he or she will prefer your brand only if he gets the right product, right service at an affordable price. So affordability is most important. Because customer will give you value for money, he or she will never give you high premium if the product or service doesn't deserve it. So that was the next tip I wanted to give to you. The next one is a concept called LTC. Now you will say it is not leave, travel, concession. It is leadership, talent, and culture. For building a long-term, successful, sustainable success organization, you need to have very good LTC, which means leadership has to be strong, very communicative, very clear, a leadership which doesn't mind, has courage to take strong decisions, take decisions which are disruptive, take decisions for long-term transformation. And that's very important. Talent, I can say that today the Indian talent is the best talent of the world. I have seen talent in a lot of countries in the world, including West and East and Europe and US and China and Japan and Asia Pacific. I feel Indian talent is fantastic. You are fantastic. Your hunger, your knowledge, your capability is fantastic. Constant learning is required. Learning has never to be stopped. For example, I'm still learning. After 42 years, I learn every day. So it's very important that you keep on learning fast and keep on executing or applying that learning every day. So both learning and application of learning is important. And the third thing is culture. The millennium talent, which is 27 years average, young talent, wants open, flexible, transparent culture, where people can say what they want to say, people want to do openly. Management is very open and transparent. People are transparent, and people grow with the company, grow with the business. And there is a purpose in the business beyond profits, so that people can identify with that purpose. So culture is very important in a company, and that's what everyone is doing. Now, last point I want to talk about is balance. As you get into the real world in next 1 or 2 years, please remember that success and happiness go hand in hand. Many people, unfortunately, have chosen only success, and they feel that happiness is less important. Not a good decision. Many people, not many, but some people say that happiness is more important. Even if I don't succeed, it doesn't mind. Not a good decision. Both are important. You need to succeed, and you need to be happy while succeeding. Now, when I say happy, what does it mean? It means you keep your family with you, keep good health, keep your friends with you, and keep always a positive spirit. By that I mean, be optimistic, be hopeful, always the glass is full, and keep a positive attitude, because attitude is altitude. Your attitude is your altitude. So this balance is very important. If you get biased only in favor of success, then you will miss many important things which will lead to happiness in the journey of next 30-40 years. So broadly, this is what I wanted to share with you. I know some of you wanted to understand my journey from Shri Ram College to now SoftBank, but that will take a long time, and I really don't have that much time today. I want to answer a few questions of you. So back to Shreya, please.
Yeah, thank you so much, sir. I really like the 4H concept, especially you emphasized on humility, like being humble. It is really, really important to be kind at heart at the same time. And the way you spoke about the business model, coming to that, I personally have a question. You talked about the revenue model. I want to talk about the second aspect. So, like speaking of your journey, like with Airtel, I read up and I came to know that while expanding Airtel to the rural areas, you visited thousands and thousands of villages and communicated with the stakeholders, communities, and even entered the markets in Africa. And when in the energy sector, you are focusing on renewable energy, which is very sustainable. So it entirely reflects the social innovation and sustainability. So what's your take on that? Especially when capitalism is a buzzword, I think social innovation would be a way forward. So I would really like to know your opinion.
You know, nothing happens without capital. That's my first and foremost thing.
Right.
India, particularly, we have a shortage of capital. Neither government nor industry nor banks have so much capital as India needs. For example, for infrastructure, in the next 5, 6 years, we need $1.4 trillion for infrastructure only, which means for highways, ports, airports, power plants, $1.4 trillion, which is nearly 50% of our GDP today. Now, hence, we need to get capital. Capital is the most important thing.
Right.
But at the same time, we have to remember that while we get capital, we build huge businesses like telecom or power or whatever. We also need to take care of people, especially poor people, especially people who are staying in rural areas, etc., etc. And that's why I always focused on a purpose. For example, in Airtel, we not only went into 5 lakh villages, which is so important. And by the way, we went to many villages which didn't have a road, didn't have a railway station, didn't have water, didn't have power. Airtel was there. It was a matter of great pride. But at the same time, we started at Airtel 300 to 400 schools for underprivileged children, especially a girl child, in villages, only in villages, not in towns. And that I'm proud of. And we all senior people, all our managers used to go and teach in those villages, these schools. First we made primary schools, then we made them secondary schools. So I'm saying there has to be something more than profits, something more than our success, something more than rural. And that we chose as education. Same applies to renewable energy. Wherever we build plants, solar plants or wind plants, we build schools for children of villages around neighboring villages, let's say in Andhra Pradesh. We upgraded schools, etc., because we have a societal purpose also. So both are important. Getting capital is important, but for us, the social contribution is also very important at the same time.
Right, sir. There is a question from the audience. What were the main strategies followed by you which helped Bharti Airtel to capture a large market share?
Three strategies, three main strategies. Of course, there were many things. Number one was a unique business model. We built a new business model in 2002, which was outsourcing business model. And you should read two case studies in Harvard. Harvard has written two case studies about Airtel and its unique business model. And at that time, it was a very risky decision, but afterwards, it became a fantastic decision. And many international telecom companies followed and replicated our model. And today, if you are getting the most affordable mobile service in the world, 4G, you're getting at less than 20 paisa per minute and less than 20 paisa per MB, then that business model has to be given the credit for its contribution to. So even at it less than 20 paisa, the margin earned by telecom companies is still healthy. So we achieved both the things. We achieved a affordability for customers, but we also achieved good profits. Now, these two are very important objectives to be achieved concurrently. So that was our first strategy. Second strategy was brand, building a very, very admired brand. Because, when we started Airtel, there was no Airtel. I mean, there were other big brands like Colgate, for example, was a fantastic brand. And so many Hindustan Lever brands, Nestle brands, Britannia brands, so many great companies of last 50, 100 years. And Airtel was at zero. But from zero base, we made it number one. And that journey of making it number one was a fantastic journey. And I really feel very passionate about it. Then our third big strategy was a very, very empowered, enthusiastic, and open people culture. Our people culture in Airtel was very, very hungry, so passionate, so much of ownership in each employee. We had at some 1.27,000 employees directly, and more than 100,000, 1 lakh employees indirectly, including agents and Ericsson and Nokia and IBM. But we made our employees very empowered. And employees were so happy. Employees contributed. They said, we own Airtel. I am Airtel. That was the culture. Even if I don't own the shares of Airtel, but I own it. It's my company. It's my brand. I want to win. I want to win every day. So that culture was and even today, Airtel is winning in the market, which is fantastic. So these were the three big strategies I followed.
Right, sir. There is another question which says that what kind of startups are being seen as the future of great investment aspect? Like, especially after COVID, what kind of startups would be seen as a good point to make investment?
Startups which have the following 5 qualities. Number 1, it should have a product or a service which has a mass appeal. Product or service which has a mass appeal. Number 2, its product and service should be backed up by technology, the latest technology. Very important. Technology orientation is critical. Number 3, it should have a profitable business model. Its business model should be profitable, and as you grow bigger and bigger, the economies of scale should give higher profits. Number 4, it should have a leadership team which is very competent and high quality and works together like a star team. And number 5, and most important, it should have an entrepreneur who is not only very ethical, but also a visionary entrepreneur. Ethical and visionary. Ethics are very important, and long-term vision is also very important. So these are 4 or 5 important parameters we look at.
So a lot of students present here, they really want to know your experience or any special memory that you have of SRCC. Like a lot of SRCC students are present over here and they really want to gather your experience.
No, I think my 3 years with Shri Ram College were fantastic. I loved the time. We enjoyed our classes. I think that the lecturers were very, very good quality. I also enjoyed the samosa. Samosa in canteen is very, very sumptuous, let me tell you. And we used to, many times we had 6, 7, 8 samosas at a time. So not only me and my friends of Shri Ram College, but we had friends coming from Stephens and Hindu and Hansraj and many other colleges. And of course, we used to play a lot of volleyball, let me tell you. We bunked classes and played volleyball because all of us loved volleyball, so we played it a lot. So I think the days were very, very enjoyable, and I really feel that Shriram College gave me a lot of knowledge and good friendships for long-term success.
Right, so we can really relate because like we have been through the same thing, although the college has really changed over the past years, but still we really understand when you say that college life was a really fun time. And so it was really inspiring, and especially it was a privilege for me to talk to you on this platform. And we are really delighted to host you at the event, and your words of wisdom would really be forever help us to start a professional career after college, because words coming in from an alumni means really to us, and we express our deep gratitude, and we really thank you, sir, for um, taking out the time and connecting with students from all across the country. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, Shreya, and I want to thank your organizers of Business Conclave. I'm delighted to be back, and I'll be very happy to come back again because I am very nostalgic about my college, and whatever I can do to help all the students of Shriram, I'll be happy to do.
It
Thank
was an honor for us, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you. All the best.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.